Hey everybody, this is Rick Schloop, and I'm coming to you from my office in Ohio. And joining me on this call is Matt Lingo, who's over in California. Hey Matt, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Good to be with you, Rick.
Yep, good to see you. I know it's the morning for you, and I'm getting closer to noon today, and it's Valentine's Day. It's Ash
Yeah.
Wednesday, Parent Teacher Conference Day here. So it's kind of a busy day, but it's good to take this time to visit with you on this video and to visit with all of you that are going to be watching this.
Yeah,
And
we're excited to be able to share with you guys and just be able to hopefully provide some resources here for this upcoming Compassion Sunday season.
yeah, and as we're in mid-February, Compassion Sunday, the official date is April 29th, but you can do a Compassion Sunday as you know, any day of the week throughout the year. And you can do it in a lot of different settings, so it doesn't necessarily have to be the entire church service. Sometimes, your option is maybe speaking in front of a small group, a Sunday school class, or combined Sunday school classes. All those can be under Compassion Sunday. So that's the really cool thing. I know we've been doing this campaign nationally for years. And many of you that are watching this recording are really seasoned veterans and have so much experience with Compassion Sunday, and we value that greatly. And later on, we'll be talking about how we can maybe invite you to share some of what you know about Compassion Sunday with some others who maybe aren't quite ready to step up to maybe even ask their pastor to do a Compassion Sunday, or they might be a little bit apprehensive about even putting a talk together. So we're going to invite you to be a part of pouring into some other people. And also the thing with Compassion Sunday, each year, I feel like we get better and better. We learn from the year before, and I know that the online resources are just fantastic. I was just in there this morning. There's great stuff in there in terms of how to prepare your presentation, to give your presentation, but even before that, how to equip your pastor, for instance, or a church leader. Informing them about what Compassion is all about, what Compassion Sunday is about, and what it'll look like. So those resources are available, and we'll get into those a little bit more later as well. I know the goal this year, I think nationally, is that 15,000 children would be released from poverty in Jesus' name through Compassion Sunday events across the country. And our advocates, our incredible ministry partners, are invited to participate in this. Sponsors across the country are also invited to participate in this. And Matt, one of the really cool things is what you're going to share next. So this is a new thing that we're doing this year. So take it away, man.
Yeah. Well, I've been part of Compassion's ministry here now officially for 2 years, and I got to say, this year I'm really excited. There are all kinds of new tools and resources, just like you talked about there, Rick. And one of those is our Facebook event page that we've got. So obviously everybody knows Facebook, and we're on social media, but we're harnessing the power of social media here to continue to get the word out about Compassion Sunday. Not only get the word out, but also what we're using this event page for is really to connect with other hosts, share tips, swap, best practices. Maybe there's a certain strategy that you hear from someone on approaching their pastor, or even, some display ideas, or, service presentation ideas, using a particular video, or sharing a brief story from an advocate, or sharing maybe a video from a trip that an advocate took, whatever the case may be. But we're especially reaching out to you guys because you guys are our all-star advocates, and we would love to be able to hear just kind of some of your tips and some of your best practices, and sharing those on this Facebook event page. So pretty easy. If you guys are familiar with Facebook events, you can search this. You don't even actually have to be a Facebook member to view this. To actually say that you're going, you do have to be a Facebook member. but you can just type in Compassion Sunday 2018 in the search bar at the top, and you'll navigate to the event. And then what we want to do is for you to go to, the RSVP tab there and mark going. If you do that, then we want you to do that so that we can begin to kind of see the momentum that's gathering about the event, and then go in and, make a comment or make a post, whatever it may be. Maybe you've got some pictures to share. So, if you've got any trouble finding that, as always, you can let Rick or I know. I did share that in my most recent communication. Rick would be able to point you right towards that. So you can always reach out to us on email or phone. And also want to make sure, if you haven't already done so, make sure to navigate to CompassionSunday.com. Awesome bunch of resources, new to this year, inspirational videos maybe that you'd want to show your pastor when you're having that conversation about potentially hosting. But you also want to go there to register your event if you have not already. So that's CompassionSunday.com. Yeah, I'm going to hand it back to you, Rick.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, Matt, that it is so important that that your voices, those of you, listening and watching this recording, is so important and valuable, because there will be a lot of people on this Facebook event page who maybe have never done a Compassion Sunday, or they have questions and they just need some answers, some encouragement, some support. And I know many of you can provide that, as well as you have the opportunity to learn from one another and to support one another. And that's a really cool thing. And as for the resources, because I've had people ask me before, okay, do you have, are the Bible verses still there? Do they have the list of songs that are possibilities you can consider using in a Compassion Sunday? What about poverty facts? All of that stuff is on the Compassion website, the Compassion Sunday website. So www.compassionsunday.com will take you right there. And it actually gives you there's some tabs where you prepare your event, and it is like pre-event, during the event, post-event, gives you lots of great stuff. And you can access bulletin inserts, poverty facts, things that would help you enrich your presentation. There's just a ton there. So a lot of that stuff, especially you legacy people, you people that have been around a long time and have done a lot of these Compassion Sundays, a lot of that stuff used to be just paper, and you would get the paper and it would have all this on there. A lot of that now is digitally. It's still there. It didn't go away. It's just online now. So, you can print it off. If you're still a paper person, you want it in your hand, you can print it off right from the website. So that's a great thing. There's also PowerPoint slides that you can use for your presentation as well. So lots of great stuff. In terms of the process, we do encourage you. I mean, it is perfectly fine. And I know last year we said, come to us with all your orders. As we kind of get better with how we're doing things and the online registration, we have made that our team at Compassion that works on that has made it as simple as possible, as intuitive as possible for you to, register your event. And it is very straightforward, because this registration is actually, it's the registration that everybody is using around the country. The only thing that it does not include is a section to put in any special requests that you have. So if you have a special request, you can come to us and we can take care of your whole order. It's actually easier for us and for the system and for our support specialist, Diana Torgerson, if you have a special request, to just bring the whole thing to us, your order as well, your registration. Don't register online. Let us go ahead and work on it from the start. And a special request might be you want, child packets from a specific country or a specific region, or some, a handful of specific child development centers, something along those lines. Sometimes you might have a church that is open to having an alumni speaker, and for that request you need to come to us. There's no guarantee, because we need to be really good stewards with our resources. It does cost. There is expense with having an alumni speaker share at a church in terms of travel and lodging, and we provide a stipend for them. And so we want to be good stewards with the resources. But if that is an option, and that is an option you want to explore, contact either Matt or contact me about that, and we can talk through that. We can fill out the necessary form to get that request put in and get that set up for you. So that's a great opportunity there. So anyway, and Matt, I know we have some really cool some other cool resources. We were talking earlier about stepping in my shoes before we did this video. What's out there?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, to give you an example of how it works kind of in action there, Aaron Tenney out in Fresno, California, already had his Compassion Sunday for this year in January. He called me up, said, "Hey, I've got, it's a really pretty new church." And so we kind of evaluated it. We went through the process of thinking about, okay, is this, really a church that would really benefit and really probably, get about 15 sponsorships. And after kind of doing, weighing that, praying about it, thinking about it, we went ahead and pulled the trigger to have Sandeep come out. He came out, he spoke, he actually took about 25 minutes of the sermon. It turned out great. We posted it online. It's on, actually Aaron posted that on the Acts for Compassion site. You can see it. But, and he actually took the whole length of the sermon, and I mean, they were pleased and really excited to have him do that. But I mean, incredibly inspirational, spirit-led speaker. So he spoke. Then over at the table, we had ordered these Sims kits, and like you mentioned, Rick, we had talked about these and shared these with you guys back in November. But pretty neat, and we were able to give one of these per family at the church. The church was about 300, but these are the Step Into My Shoes, and they've got these virtual reality goggles that attach on to your smartphone, and they kind of open up and click on. And then there are booklets in there that walk you through a series of devotionals that you would do with your kids, and really, really powerful stuff. I've really talked to a number of families that have gone through this and really enjoyed it, and just some powerful stuff in there that shares kind of the perspective of a young boy who's there in the Philippines, and lets you kind of have that whole virtual reality experience that you can get even with your smartphone without the whole super expensive headset. So we can order these for you for your Compassion Sunday. But again, that's one of those where you've got to kind of come to us and let us know. We'll figure out, the quantity and what would kind of make sense for your church. But this is kind of a new thing for this year, and we've been able to do this in partnership with Fuller Youth Institute. But we're able to provide these to you free of charge. So that's a pretty cool kind of a value add to your Compassion Sunday, if that sounds like something you're interested in.
Yeah, and we also have, if you remember from our November webinar that Matt and I did, When Compassion Meets Action by John Ortberg and Jimmy Miato, they're both featured on it. Ann Voskamp is also a host with it. It's a video curriculum. It's a great study guide. But this is a fabulous resource for small group study. It's great for Sunday school classes. It could be something that your whole church goes through. I mean, it could be a focus for the church. The content is so incredibly rich. Actually, our team is actually doing a study of this right now together as a team, and it's been incredible. It's been a great value to us. It's developing us as disciples of Christ. And it really is about, the open doors in our lives and the choices we make and the decisions we make. So it's a great resource. Just want to make you aware of that. I do know online church leaders can order this for their church, and that is free. I know many of you do have this or have gained access to it. I would encourage you to go through it too. It's just is really rich. Just like the Step Into My Shoes has great curriculum, great content with it. And so I would encourage you to check this out. And if you have any questions about this, see us, and we'll fill you in. Matt, I know there's one more thing going on, a new thing that's starting, I think, in March.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
Sure. We have our brand new monthly webinar series that we're going to be launching off called Love in Action. And this is, again, kind of like the Facebook event page that was really meant to kind of be an interactive place for us to be able to connect and share with each other, to glean from some experts. Our very first webinar is going to be starting in March there, and we're going to be talking about ways to engage your pastor and church community to maximize your impact there with Compassion Sunday. And that's going to be hosted by Doug West, who's our church expert here with Supporter Mobilization. So just some time to be able to even potentially, ask some questions, get some questions answered, but to really be able to hear from some experts that have, been there and had experience, seen some things work or not work, and sharing from that, which I think is so valuable, especially maybe if, you're new to this and you've never even done a Compassion Sunday, or even if, you feel like, hey, I've been doing this over and over, what are some new things to try to kind of gain some fresh perspective and to kind of renew it, at your church or church relationship that you've got. So yeah, that's going to be starting off in March. Love in Action webinar series coming up. You'll be hearing about that from both Rick and I in email. So be on the lookout for those invitations.
And I know we'll be recording that webinar. And those webinars, I think the really nice thing that we're doing now is we're getting away from the hour-long webinars. That's a big ask to ask you to, hey, can you commit to this hour after, a busy work day, or, and you're with your family. We don't want to take away from that, but we also want to know, we also want to give you everything you need and support you in your ministry as child advocates. So I think the webinar is geared to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. The nice thing about being on the live event, you can ask questions, you can kind of interact with the people there that are a part of it, but the recording will be available as well. So that's a really, really good thing. So I think that wraps up our time together, Matt. To honor these people's time, we don't want to go too long. But
I'm trying to keep them short and sweet, just like the webinars. Yeah, short and sweet. Yeah.
There you go. And I have to tell you one thing real quick, just popped into my head. I was at a basketball game, and as I was walking out, I saw this pastor. I had gone to his church one time last year because my son was part of what's called a symphonic choir from the school, and they were singing at the church worship songs during a Sunday service. And he looked at me, and we were just exchanging, comments after the game, and just as people do after attending a sporting event. And he said, "I still have your phone number, and I'm going to want you to come and speak." And so I'm saying this on this recording because it's even those type of interactions that open up an opportunity for a Compassion Sunday. And he is inviting me to come and speak. But I also know that I need to follow up with him. I need to reach out to him now. He hasn't gotten back with me, and it's been 2 weeks. So I want you to hold me accountable, Matt, and anybody else watching this, that I've reached out to him to plan my Compassion Sunday. I'm going to do that today. So it's been great. It's been great coming to you via video. So have a great day, evening, wherever you are. If it's the middle of the night and you're watching this, well, good for you. But it's been great to share this with you.
Yeah, we're excited about what God's going to do with Compassion Sunday this year. There's so many new things coming, but we're faithfully waiting to see what God will do in this new year. So we're excited. Thanks for partnering with us. It was a pleasure to be part of this short time with you.
All right. So long, everybody.